The college basketball experience, Moneyline Mac Top 25 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with that promo code, baby, TCE SGPN to get a 50% deposit up to $1,000. That is the Underdog Fantasy promo code TCE SGPN. And we are also brought to you by Edge Boost. Earn up to $750 per month on your sports gambling transactions. Go over to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Get your 7-day free trial today by heading over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM today. Welcome, everybody, into the college basketball experience. Moneyline Mac Top 25 for Monday, February the 17th. You know what that means, February the 17th, less than 4 weeks to Selection Sunday. Kind of hard to believe. I felt like we were in Feast Week just what, two weeks ago, and now you blink of an eye. We're already here, mid-February, coming down the wire. March Madness upon us. All the TMZ fans flocking to the best sport out there, college hoops. We've been here every day of the year. That's what we do over here at the College Experience. I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin.
It's Mac tonight. Come on, make it Mac tonight.
Oh, buddy. Just enjoying Monday. Gonna make the road trip down to the beach area tonight. 757 take on Norfolk State is taking on Delaware State, a battle of first place for second place in the MEAC. So I want to get my eyes on the Spartans in person. Been a big fan of Robert Jones in that program this year. So looking forward to seeing Norfolk State, the Spartans tonight. And a loaded Tuesday slate per usual. Super Tuesday is definitely the best day on the calendar week for college hoops outside of, I guess, the Saturday mega slate. So, all right, but yeah, let's talk about the top 25. Per usual, I will do the AP poll first, and then I will react with my rankings because they just released their rankings. We got Auburn, no surprise, at 1. We got Florida 2, Duke 3, Alabama 4, Houston 5, no surprises there. You got Tennessee 6, A&M 7, Iowa State 8, Texas Tech 9, St. John's 10. Maybe the Johnnies a little bit high that I'll talk about with my rankings, being at number 10. But then you got Wisconsin coming off that big win. They're at 11, 12 Michigan, 13 Purdue, 14 Michigan State. So, yeah, 4 straight Big Ten schools. Then you got Missouri at 15. Then at 16, you got Marquette, Kentucky at 17, Clemson at 18, Arizona at 19, Maryland at 20. And then rounding it out in the final 5 spots here, Mississippi State at 21, Memphis at 22, Kansas at 23. Kansas, Ole Miss at 24, and Louisville rounding it out in the AP top 25. So that gets me into my rankings that are much better and much more accurate than these rankings. So I did agree with basically the top 5, just in different order. I had Auburn at 1. I don't think anybody can really dispute that at this time. If you're disputing Auburn should not be number 1, then you're either a Duke fan who's extremely biased for your team, or you're just a Florida fan that's extremely biased for your team. 14 quad 1 wins, easily the number 1 team in the country. I did have the Gators at number 2, just like them. I think what are they? 22-3. The at Auburn win in the jungle stands out. But Auburn's resume, top to bottom, is much better than Florida. So that's why I give Auburn still the nod at 23-2 versus Florida at 22-3. But here's where I differ. I have Alabama over Duke. I'm not going to overreact to one loss to Auburn, the best team in the country. They didn't make shots on Saturday. I still think that they're a really good team. I still think they can get to a Final Four. I don't know if they can win the national title with just their 3-point variance and just their hectic style. So, yeah, I'll put Alabama at number 3 here. I have Duke at 4. Duke, advanced metrics-wise, is a sexy darling to everybody. Their KenPom numbers are good. Their shot quality numbers are good. It's just the lack of competition. It's hard for me to get super excited. I know the talent's there, but I don't see the case really as of right now where they should be ranked ahead of one of those 3 teams in front of them. Houston is getting close to jumping Duke for me if they keep winning game after game after game. Houston, what they've won 12 road games in a row now, sitting at 13-1 in the Big 12. This team is unbelievable with the way that they just keep pulling out these games. 21-4 on the year. Once again, they check all the boxes from a metric standpoint. So Houston continues to roll. They have found something, or they've more identified their roles, in my opinion, since Jamal Shed left last year. Uzan has really finally found himself. I think it took a couple months to find his role, how he fits in with the rest of these guys, Cryer, Roberts, and that culture. So it's a fun team. I mean, it's hard to knock Houston for anything. And Kelvin Sampson's one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the sport. Texas A&M at 6. I think this team is way under the radar. I don't know if I'm going to get my 40-1 on Texas A&M preseason to win the SEC just because Auburn has been so goddamn good. But A&M quietly 20-5, 9-3 in the SEC, even with Wade Taylor missing an extended period of time there, 3 games, I think. This team is second weekend good. They could even get to a Final Four. They are extremely under the radar once again, the buzzsaw, as they continue to just roll teams in the SEC. Tennessee at 7. I think the AP poll had Tennessee above A&M. They actually played this week, so this is an easy. Whoever wins will go ahead of the other one. Tennessee has looked a little bit suspect lately, just because. They lose it at Kentucky earlier in the week. They were down to Oklahoma, or they were down to Vandy for a majority of the game. They did not really look good last week, but they still got a split. They got a huge road game coming up this week at A&M. So we'll see if Tennessee can continue to traject into March. They're good. They're good. Tennessee's solid. They're a second weekend team, and if they get the right draw, they can get to a Final Four. Iowa State at 8. Iowa State's healthy. They've won 3 in a row. All of a sudden, they're rolling. They got the big game with Houston on deck on Saturday. That's going to be a fantastic game. But Iowa State, they took it on the lumps a little bit when they lost 3 in a row, but they're back. Otzelberger and company, this is a Final Four contender. And maybe the best team in March from the Big 12 that I think could make a run here. So, yeah, Wisconsin at number 9. Hey, on Wisconsin. Maybe a little bit of an overreaction, maybe not. Maybe we're just sleeping on Wisconsin because of the narrative of them in the past, but 20-5, what they won, like 10 out of 11? 10 out of 12. Their only losses in that stretch are at UCLA and at Maryland. And when you win at Mackey, the way they won at Mackey on Saturday, that moves the needle for me. That moves the needle for me because nobody wins there, and nobody wins there going away the way that they did. So Wisconsin going into Mackey scoring 95 points. These are not your same old Badgers. So, and they got screwed with the ejection earlier in the game. It reminded me a lot of the next team, Texas Tech. Texas Tech, I see some people in the chat a little bit down on Texas Tech. I don't know how you could be down on Texas Tech. They're 20-5. They won both their games last week. They went to Oklahoma State and won by 40. In a place where they have struggled in the past. The only game that they have dropped since January the 11th was at Arizona, where they just ran out of gas at the end. They've won at Houston. They've beaten the shit out of Baylor. They've beaten the shit out of Arizona in that time period. Texas Tech is a absolute wagon. And they can really score it and come at you in different ways offensively. It's that Grant McCasland team is a dangerous and fun team. So rounding it out, top 10, we got how many SEC? 5, 3 from the Big 12, 1 from the Big 10, and 1 from the ACC, which kind of matched up what we saw with the selection committee on Saturday. It's SEC is definitely the top tier, top league, and then I think you got the Big 12, which is their top tier Final Four contenders, and then I think you get into the Big 10. Then you can go. I don't even know if we throw the ACC in there because they're just one team. I guess Clemson is a little bit knocking on the door, but Big East probably the 4th best league this year, and then maybe the ACC because Duke. So, all right, let's pay the bills real quick before we dive into 11 through 20, because over here at the College Basketball Experience, we are, well, if you're looking for some daily picks, the picks page, I don't know how many more times I have to pump up the picks page. Get on over there where we give out we pick every single game of the year free. Download, it is free in the SGPN App Store. Reminder, it is free to get all our picks, all sports, college hoops, college football, NBA, NHL, MLB, NFL, and all the sports. Get on over there, SGPN app, and reminder, it is free. We are also brought to you by Edge Boost. SGPN is partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit betting cards for better bettors. Get on over there. You can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using the fund Edge Boost card. Your money is safe and the card is insured. The best part is no credit checks, and it's completely free. We all like free, so get on over there to Edge Boost. Sign up with the promo code SGPN so you can get better cashback rewards and instant Tier 2 status. That is edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We are also brought to you by MyBookie, baby. The OG is back, and they got a new app, and they've cleaned it up. It looks really good. Get on over there, mybookie.ag. Use our promo code to help you out and get the deposit match, TCE SGPN. And listen to this, 100% deposit match up to $1,000. That's going to be good for March Madness. That's mybookie.ag, promo code TCE SGPN, and a $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code TCE SGPN. All righty, baby. We are back on the College Experience, 11 through 20. I had to write down the ad marks. And shout out to the chat. Throw in some comments in there and all that good stuff. And, yeah, shout out to you, Roland. I appreciate you. Love the sport. Want to share the knowledge, share the passion. I went on a rant last night about how great that slate was yesterday. And not just because of Ohio State and Michigan. That was a great game, great rivalry, Big Ten. What's at stake for Big Ten stakes, but Drake Bradley. That game was fucking awesome. And just all what college basketball is all about. Utah State, New Mexico. If you didn't enjoy watching that game, then you need to go see a doctor because you got issues. That game was awesome. Youngstown, Cleveland State was awesome. How about that Wichita crowd playing Memphis? I mean, those crowds yesterday were awesome, man. It's just, the sport is absolutely on fire. And I didn't even mention what Rick Pitino is doing at St. John's. That Garden crowd is like an NBA New York Knicks crowd, and they're rooting on St. John's. So the sport is in good hands. It's healthy, and this is going to be a fun month. And I love this time of year because the stakes get more and more. But I also don't like this time of year because you start getting the people that come in and they're a fan of the sport for a month and they try and pose their bullshit corporate TMZ ideas. That's what I hate. When they're not here since November, they come in and they act like they're a fucking expert and they push their trash ass ideas that quite frankly just belong in the NBA. And you guys can go watch the NBA and see how that sport's doing. It's at an all-time low in product. And college basketball is the opposite. College basketball is ascending. The NBA has gone into the fucking toilet just because of the player empowerment. So I'll get off my soap opera and let's talk 11 through 20. Michigan. Michigan's rolling. Win at Ohio State yesterday. unbelievable win. Dusty May. It's what can you say about Michigan? Juwan Howard last year, last place. Now Dusty May, year 1, 20-5, 12-2 in the Big Ten. Control your own destiny. We'll see. They got Sparty twice. So, I mean, we're going to determine the Big Ten once Michigan and Michigan State square off. But right now, Michigan's absolutely rolling offensively and defensively. I am way higher on this team than I guess the AP poll is, and I guess because they're not sexy. Missouri. I think Missouri's underranked in the poll. Missouri has gone on the road at multiple places and gotten big wins. They went to Mississippi State and won. They went to Florida and won. They beat an Ole Miss at home. They went to Georgia this weekend and won by double digits in a must-win game. Their losses over the last 3 weeks, their only losses are at a buzzer beater to Wade Taylor, number 6 in the country, and then at Tennessee, a game where they led for 25 minutes in Knoxville. So I think Missouri's under the radar. I love this team, love the experience, love the size, athleticism. I'm a big fan of Missouri and the job Dennis Gates is doing there. I do have the Johnnies at 13. I knocked them down 2 spots. I know they beat Creighton, but I can't. They also lost to Villanova earlier in the week. So you take into account the whole body of work. I love the Johnnies. They are a fun team. And personally, my favorite team to watch in the country just because of the way they get after you defensively with their ball pressure, protecting the rim. They're old, they're experienced. It's a Rick Pitino team. I think they can get to a Final Four. I think they could even win the national championship because they have Rick Pitino. But they do have to start making a couple shots, or at least their free throws. I think they will come March, and once they do, it's going to be a dangerous team. But right now, the Johnnies 22-4, 13-2 in the Big East, 2-game lead with 5 games to go. Slick Rick has got him in the driver's seat to win the Big East for the first time in forever. And like I said, man, the crowds they are getting for these games, I've never seen this, even close to this, at St. John's. So I love St. John's. Purdue's at 14. They took a little bit of a step back this week. They lose at Michigan in that crazy-ass game. Oh, I forgot that with my Michigan. Not only did they win at Ohio State, they beat Purdue earlier in the week. So a hell of a win for Michigan. Purdue should have won that Michigan game. They led for 35, 36 minutes. Purdue's still really good. They just they had a bad week. And sometimes you have a bad week in league play. It's Braden Smith is the best point guard in the country. I don't even think that's debatable. He's so productive. Coffin Wren's awesome. But they're not as good as last year, of course, because they don't have Zach Edey. But Matt Painter runs a great program. 14, I think, is a perfect spot for them. I expect Purdue to be right there to win the Big Ten regular season and tournament come these next couple weeks. Sparty is at 15. Weird week for Sparty. They dropped the Indiana puzzling game where Indiana just runs out of 2-3 zone, and they were thrown off a little bit, and they dropped that home game. But Izzo bounces back, breaks the record Saturday night in Champaign. They hold Illinois scoreless for the last 6.5 minutes, just completely out-tough them. This is another team. St. John's is shitting on the analytics crowd. So is Sparty. Sparty doesn't shoot threes, but they just beat the shit out of you, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. I love the Sparty team. I think their guards are tough. I think their bigs are physical. Kohler was awesome down the stretch. And I love teams that just shit on the analytics crowd. So I'm all in. Sign me up for St. John's, Michigan State National Championship, where all the computer nerds can go jump off a bridge watching that game. It would be a thing of beauty. Basketball, the way it should be played. Not all this 3-point shit. Number 16, I got Maryland, the Terrapins. I think people are still underrating this team a little bit. 20-6 on the year. Speaking of really good front courts, I mean, the duo of Queen and Reese is awesome. The guards are really good. Gillespie, Rice, Miguel's good. Maryland may have the best starting 5 in the country in terms of just like talent. The more and more I watch Maryland, the more and more I watch them. This is a second weekend good team. I mean, this is a really good team. Willard obviously has not done it in March, but hey, neither had Dan Hurley. So we'll see. Really high on Maryland and the upside that they have coming into the end of the tournament here next month. At number 17, a team that nobody likes is Marquette. Marquette dropped 3 games in a row, but they bounced back with the DePaul win this week. Marquette's a hard team to gauge just because they went through a 3-game losing streak. I'm not going to overreact just like Iowa State. I think that they're going to finish strong here, and I think they could be a team that kind of sneaks up on people in March Madness because they have a star. They have a stud in Cam Jones, and I think he's been banged up over the last couple of weeks, but I think he is getting healthier, and I think he's a kind of guy that he can lead you and carry you to 2-3 wins that you weren't supposed to get in March Madness. So I think this team is kind of a team that everybody's sleeping on. They were really good in the non-con. The physicality and the scouting of the Big East, I think, has beat them up a little bit. So I got them at 17. But like I said, I think they're underrated now and under the radar, which may be a good thing for Shaka. At number 18, I got the Arizona Wildcats. Arizona was playing really good ball, but they are staring right down the barrel hole right now of a 3-game losing streak tonight if they don't get it done at Baylor. They've dropped back-to-back games, 0-2 week. At K-State, who was the hottest team before losing at BYU. Then they choked that Houston game away. There's no other way to put it. Led for 35, 36 minutes. Houston made every tough play down the stretch. Just tough loss for Tommy Lloyd and company, kind of taking them out of the Big 12 race. I still like Arizona. I still like their size. I like their athleticism, their raw talent. But I worry about a Caleb Love-led team, man. He takes some fucked up shots, and he can, as much as he can shoot you into a game, he can also shoot you right out of the game. We saw the Sweet 16 last year against Clemson. I just think Arizona's solid, but they're kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team. I mean, they're a team that it would shock you if they lost in the first round again, but it wouldn't shock me if they got to the Final Four either. So an interesting team with the Wildcats of Arizona. 19, Kentucky. Kentucky's a hard team to rank because when they're healthy, they're good, but they're not healthy, and they're not going to be healthy coming down the stretch. So they don't guard at all. They couldn't guard this chat right now. I mean, they play no defense. But they are an entertaining team from the offensive side of the ball. Mark Pope kind of looks like his BYU team last year. That's who Kentucky is. They are BYU of last year. Entertaining, fun brand of basketball. They're hard to guard, but, man, you can score on them at will. So Kentucky, they got to get Lamont Butler back. That at least gives them a little bit of shit to them on the defensive end. But as of right now, Kentucky probably going to be around a 32 team. They've overachieved. Great story, but I'm not buying into them being a serious contender come March. Number 20, I got UCLA. They drop a game in Champaign, but they bounce back at Indiana. They've won 8 out of 9. They found their identity since Mick called them out, sitting there at 19-7, 10-5 in the Big Ten. They're not sexy, but they just get shit done. Ever since the big fella stepped in there, they've been a different dynamic here. I think UCLA is a team to watch come next month as well, just with their size and experience. All right, both Mississippi schools come in at 21 and 22. Mississippi State completes the season sweep over Ole Miss. They kind of beat the shit out of them, to be honest, in Oxford this weekend. So Chris Jans and company, they have a guy that's a star as well, Josh Hubbard. I mean, we love watching him, bucket getter. Mississippi State, they've struggled a little bit in league play, sitting here at 6-6, but that was a big win, I think, to kind of get some momentum headed into the last couple of weeks. So maybe Hail State's a team that can go on a little bit of a run. A little bit of a run here is into these next couple of weeks. So Hail State, Chris Jans, nice win Saturday night. Ole Miss, I think they're good. They may have peaked a little early, Ole Miss. Last couple of weeks, they have not looked apart since the Kentucky game. They should have lost to LSU, should have lost to South Carolina, and then they kind of got handled against Mississippi State. So I want to see them finish strong here over the next 5 games. They've been a solid team. I like Chris Beard. Chris Beard is a coach. I trust him, but I need to see a little bit more from this roster coming down the stretch here. Creighton at number 23. Creighton had a tough week, so I dropped them. They were around 12 or 13 last week for me. They had won, 10 in a row, 11 in a row. But they had a tough week. They lost to UConn at home. That's not a very good loss. And then lost to St. John's in a back-and-forth game. Great game. So I got Creighton at number 23. They may have peaked a little bit early to get back into the Big East race, but Kalkbrenner went down. It looked like it was going to be bad, but he ended up coming back. That's good. Ashworth is a stud as well. So, yeah, give me Creighton at number 23. At number 24, I got the Clemson Tigers, new to my list here. It's hard to keep Clemson out of there. 21-5. They are a fun team to watch. They're old. They're experienced. They've gone to the Elite Eight last year. They added the big fella Locken. They got the Hunter brothers there in the backcourt. They got a lot of pieces that I like here with this Clemson team. So it's hard for me to rank them higher than 24 just because the ACC sucks so bad. But from the eye test, Clemson looks like a top 25, maybe even a top 20 team, but they just don't play the quality of competition that some of these other schools play night in and night out. And that gets me to 25. The Lobos of New Mexico. The Lobos are fucking awesome. I love watching this team. Donovan Dent is a star. They got size. They're electric in that building. The Pit, we saw it yesterday. The Pit willed them to that win over Utah State. Rick Pitino's having a hell of a year. 22-4, 12-2 in conference play. Well, look up Richard Pitino, 12-2 in the Mountain West. 22-4 overall, 2-game lead in the Mountain West. So Little Slick Rick, both sitting here, 2-game leads in their conferences after big wins yesterday over second place teams. It's a good year to be at Pitino, and maybe we'll get that matchup come March. So, all right, I'll get to some of the chat here in a minute, but we got to talk about Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit. Offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. That is the Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. We are also brought to you by Rhythm. Build your model over there with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by heading over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. You can build your model based off of how you want. If you're an offensive guy, defensive guy, it is awesome over there at Rhythm. I love those models. So get on over there to Rhythm, and it's RITHMM. All righty, we are back. Hey, catch my breath there. Let's get over to the chat. Fire away here. We got almost 100 people watching the top 25. So, fire away. And shout out to DB Cooper. Everybody's asking about top 25 games, and you're asking about Grambling versus Prairie View. I took Prairie View. Colby and I talked me into Prairie View. I think Prairie View is the right side. I don't know what the number is now, but it was 7.5 last night. Let's dive into the chat here. Sorry if I missed a couple of you guys. Gary K says, watch out for VCU. VCU's on my next 5 teams. Let me actually address that. Who would be my next 5 teams that just miss? I would say Kansas. Oh, yes. Kansas is not in my top 25. I originally put them at 25, but then I was diving into it, and I don't see it with what they've done over the last couple of weeks. I don't think they're a top 25 team right now. They're dog shit. They lost to Utah when Utah's shorthanded in the front court. They lost to K-State. They've lost to Baylor. They've lost 4 out of 7, and they're 8-6 in the Big 12. They're a mediocre team in the Big 12 right now. I don't see how you could put them in your top 25 unless you're just simply going off of name and brand. So, yeah. To Finn's point, St. Mary's is right there too. It came down to St. Mary's and New Mexico. I gave the nod to New Mexico, but St. Mary's, I wanted to put them in there, but I think New Mexico has the better record. If I had St. Mary's briefly in there when they beat Gonzaga the first time, but then when they lost to Gonzaga or when they lost to San Francisco, I knocked them out. So they're right there in that 25 to 30 range for me. So they're not far behind. I love St. Mary's. I think it's a fun team. Who else is right there on the outside looking in? Maybe Memphis. Memphis is probably right there. They were in my top 25, but then, of course, they dropped that game that was head-scratching yesterday against Wichita. Memphis. Louisville is right there as well. They're on the outside looking in. And then if I had to throw one more in there, I would throw who else would I throw in there? Not Bradley or Drake. Not Towson, even though Towson is fun, rolling 11 in a row. I'm just looking at the chat. I probably would throw UC San Diego. Yeah, Trevor, UC San Diego. Those would be my 5. Kansas, St. Mary's, UC San Diego, Louisville. What was the other team I said? I can't remember. Whoever it was, I said. So yeah, those are my outside looking in teams. Look, no, I don't agree with that. Who's Louisville played? They've literally just beat up. They are the perfect. They're going to get in because they just beat up on a bad league. They had 5 losses in the non-con. Or 4 losses in the non-con. They're not as good. They're not as good as everybody's making them out to be. But hey, they're a fun story. They're beating the shit out of who's in front of them. So there is something to be said for that. So UConn will be back in the top 25 next week. No, they will not. UConn is closer to the bubble than they are to being ranked in the top 25. UConn is not good. I keep saying that, and everybody just says you're a hater. No, they're not good. They have holes. You don't lose to Seton Hall when you're this time of year and you're a good team. They're okay. They've won games because of their culture, but they got a lot of holes on that roster. Kansas is better than New Mexico, maybe, but what have they done to show it? They haven't looked good since they played Duke in the non-con. Michigan's too high. I disagree. Did you watch what Michigan did last week? They beat Purdue and then they went to Ohio State and won. They're 12-2 in the Big Ten. So, I would say they're not maybe not high enough. Maybe they should be in the top 10. George Mason's not too far back, Matt Dix. The winner of Mason and VCU will probably work their way into my top 25. If Mason goes to VCU and wins, I'm going to rank them. But if VCU rolls them, like I think they might on Saturday, I'm probably going to rank VCU come next Monday. Where's the one comment that I saw? Gonzaga, revenge versus St. Mary's. I mean, Gonzaga better hope so, man. They need to be careful or they're going to be on the bubble. There's one other comment I want to say, and I forget. I can't see where to go. Trevor says we need a Moneyline Mac top 25 mid-major. That's not a bad idea, actually. Whoever asks, are we going to do conference tourney previews? Yes, we are. We are going to do that. No, they don't. What are you talking about? They cover every week. They lost to Georgia Tech outright. They didn't cover against Miami. They covered this week, but they had not covered 3 out of the last 4 before that. Their wins are over Notre Dame, NC State, Miami, and Boston College. Let's pump the brakes on the Louisville stuff. In fact, Louisville is turning into a big time fade team come March Madness with the love for Louisville. They just beat up on this crap ass league. This is not. They're good. Don't get me wrong, but they're not top 20 good like everybody's making it out to be. They lost to Ole Miss by 30 at home. They lost to Oklahoma. They lost to Tennessee when Tennessee came there by 25. Their big wins in the non-con are over a shorthanded West Virginia team in overtime, and then Indiana. Those are their 2 big wins outside the ACC. Every time they've stepped up, they've kind of gotten humbled a little bit. So yeah, let's go. Tony Skin, Willard assistant, yes. Arizona too high. I mean, Arizona was one of the hottest teams in the country before that. Yeah, they took a bad loss this weekend. Not a bad loss. I mean, they lost to Houston. So I don't know if that's really a bad loss. North Texas to win the American. I could see it. I can see if they guard Memphis. Does anybody trust Memphis? I know I'm the Memphis hater, but does anybody trust Memphis? I don't trust Memphis. I'll never trust Memphis. Let's go Texas Tech and Wisconsin. So you want them flipped? Fair enough. Belmont, Winthrop, Moorhead. He's going over the Louisville love's gone too far. The AP poll ranking them ahead of. I mean, who did they rank them ahead of? Who? Just out of curiosity. So they rank Louisville 25. There's no way you can rank Louisville ahead of New Mexico. New Mexico has a better resume than Louisville. Creighton has a better resume than Louisville. Who else do they have? They don't have UCLA. UCLA has a better resume than Louisville. I mean, come on, guys. This is ridiculous. If they win out, then yes. No. Louisville is not better than Creighton. What are you talking about, Noah? No, they're not. No, not even close. Gonzaga or St. Mary's? St. Mary's is way closer, Thomas, than St. Mary's is way closer than Gonzaga. Gonzaga is kind of fraudulent, to be honest. They just have great computer metrics. Ohio State, no, they have like 11 losses on the year. AO, they're not close to the top. They're a bubble team. They got to figure out a way to make the NCAA tournament. Houston and A&M should be ahead of Duke. Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I know I'm a Duke hater, but to my point, like the ACC is not very good, but I do think Duke looks more the part. Absolutely not Supreme Abdul-Jabbar. Louisville, no. Memphis, hell no. Memphis has 3 quad 3 losses. How the hell are you going to put them in the top 25? No. We got Clemson, has some great wins. Yeah, Clemson is solid. This guy's a jack fuck, Anthony. Who cares what the WU guy thinks it? And yet you're watching. So who really did win? That's what I thought. Cheers, man. Enjoy your parents' basement. Keep it rolling here. The Dons have a chance to upset St. Mary's and the Zags and Attorney. Yeah, I do like the Dons. I like Santa Clara. New Mexico beats whoever's in front of them. Memphis and Louisville. Yeah, I think that does. Purdue. How can you say Purdue's better than Wisconsin? Did we watch? Did we just play this game in Mackey where they threw out the guy from Wisconsin? Right now, I would say Wisconsin's better than Purdue. We just saw them play each other. Bracket Matrix having Kentucky as a 3 seed is ridiculous. That Kentucky's got good wins now. They got like 6 top 10 wins. So, although I don't think the eye test is right with Kentucky, you can't deny some of the wins that they've had. So, what happened to UConn? What happened to UConn? They lost a bunch of guys in the first round of the NBA draft, and they didn't really replace anybody in the portal. Aiden Mahaney hasn't been really a hit. So yeah, it's they've come back to the pack a little bit. So yeah, it's yep. St. Mary's locking up. Yes. All right. I think that does it for the chat. We got a couple clowns in the chat. I'm going to go carry on with my day. Enjoy some nice sunshine. It's nice out there right now. Before I head over to Norfolk versus Delaware State here tonight. Shout out to everybody in the chat, even you jackfucks that just come to hate. Remember, keep hating. Who's winning? Me. You're coming to watch me talk about college basketball. So look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? That jackass Moneyline Mac, he knows what he's doing to get a rise out of me and keeps me coming back. So cheers, everybody. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe all the channels. College football experience, college baseball experience. College baseball was awesome this weekend. I wish they had some day games on today. I would be all over this. Make pregame show 6:00 Eastern. I don't know if there's one tonight, just with the limited slate, and I'm out, so stay tuned on that. But rest of the week 6:00 Eastern, Monday through Friday. Great show, and the pick show will probably be a little bit later tonight. Just with Colby has segments on Monday, so yeah, let's go. All right, guys, that does it for a nice Monday. Enjoy your afternoon, even to you clowns out there. I am at Moneyline _Mac. This is the College Basketball Experience, and we are out of here.